Hello my friends and welcome. This is the latest update from Ukraine. Today Ukraine landed on Crimea. Yes, our special forces performed this operation in Olenivka, well, to be more precise, over here near to Mayak Cape. It is kind of the rocky coast from this side, but here is just a nice beach, usually the place for tourists, but Russia used this place for their military. Just yesterday Russia lost their S-400 air defense system Triumph, together with a very unique radar, and as it appeared today, Ukraine used the Neptune rockets to attack the Russian military base over there. Obviously, Russia is more or less prepared for the landing operation of the Ukrainian army. Nevertheless, our guys landed, they caused losses for Russians, and were able to move out from this area, because for now Ukraine is still out of the resources to make some sort of the bridgehead in this territory. Russia has lots of the military bases out there with lots of the aircraft, so they would have bombed our soldiers if they had stayed there for a long time. That is why our guys moved out without any losses. We even have some footage from the place how our guys from the GUR Special Forces are coming back to the Ukrainian-controlled territory. From what I understood, they were landed at first from the helicopter. That is why it was important to target the Russian S-400 Triumph system. You may say that it is the useless risk to conduct this operation without any tactical success, but I wouldn't agree with that, because it is boosting the morale of Ukrainian society and Ukrainian army. At the same time, destroys the morale of our enemy, because they feel more or less secure in Crimea. Well, sometimes occupiers experience the storm shadow and other tools, but it's the first time for the long time then Ukraine actually landed in Crimea using the infantry forces of our special ops. It also shows the sign to the pro-Ukrainian part of the Crimean society that Ukraine is here. Ukraine thinks about Crimea and will liberate it. Plus, this mission was performed on the Independence Day of Ukraine, so it's very important to show this sign. Sometimes you ask me what resources do I use to check out the latest information. Well, one of my main resources is the Ground News platform. Here you may find all of the interesting topics you like. For example, if I type over here Ukrainian war, I will get all of the reference to what I am searching for, so let's go for it. Here you may find all of the related topics concerning the war in Ukraine. The main story, as you can see, is still around Prigozhin and the air crash of his private jet. We also have the Putin's reaction on that. He condemns the air crash, saying that investigation will obviously show the results. We're gonna speak also about it in this video. If we click, for example, on Putin's reaction on Prigozhin's death, you'll see many of the media resources and articles created by the leading news agencies. Here you may also find Russian media, Ukrainian media, American, British, whatever you like. So you may compare the information and understand what you really need to consume. It is very important nowadays. The bias distribution gives us the idea of the origin of the news depending on the source. So here we can see left, central and right equal, so the news are covered equally from all of the agencies. And if you scroll down a little, you may find the ownership of the media and the factuality report, which is very high for those news, because Putin reaction is basically the fact on the event. The high factuality actually is the key factor for me to choose what article to read. Also, before reading the article, you may see the bias distribution of particular media resource and the ownership of the media. For example, if you check out the BBC News, you may see here that it's the government-owned news resource. So if you click on the article, you will see it. Here you may see the full video of Putin's address to the people. In front of the cameras, Putin said that Prigozhin had a very interesting and hard destiny, and now he is kaput. He also said that they knew each other for a very long time. Putin says that Prigozhin made the serious mistakes in his life, but he achieved the results both for himself and for the Russian Federation. Like in the last few months, I think that Putin is speaking about the Bakhmut city that is under the risk for Russia to lose at any moment. We are unable to take that one and encircle because we need to use our resources to advance on the south, not to the east, because east is not that perspective as the south direction for Ukraine right now. So all of that are basically lies and nothing more. Putin assassinated Prigozhin. I personally have no doubt about it. What I also like on this platform is the blind spot page, where if you have the tendency to lean towards left side or towards right, you may miss some of the news, and here you may check out the articles that also might be interested for you. So I highly recommend this resource for your daily reviews of the news. It is also available as the user-friendly application for your Android smartphone or your iPhone. There you also may find the interactive map that shows you the origin of the news location. To have the full access for all of the features of this unique platform, please go to the video description just below and click on my link. There you may subscribe for this platform to stay constantly updated. And also in that case you support my channel, because Ground News is the sponsor of this video, and the Ground News team is quite ambitious working on this project. They're doing a fantastic job. Big like. Alright, we're gonna return to the news about Prigozhin a little later, because I have many things to say. But first, let's speak about the situation on the southern front lines. Here, Robotyne, as you know already, was liberated. Also, there's one more vector over here, and the front line goes, well, straight through the Russian defense lines. For now, it's hard to cross them over here, but I'm sure that Ukraine will propel forward and probably go to Novoprokopivka, because there is the shelling from the Ukrainian aviation. We constantly use the gliding bombs, JDAMs. But Russia uses their artillery systems to target our guys, this time already in Robotyne. Just a couple of days ago I say that Russia might try to make some sort of the trap for the Ukrainian forces in Robotyne. That is why it's very important for Ukrainian army to continue a movement, not to stay at the same place, because they are the target for the Russian artillery. Also, Russia uses lots of the drones in this area of the new offensive operation of Ukrainian army. They want to understand the location of our guys, but in most of the cases their drones been shot by the manpads or by other air defense systems. And Ukraine continued to target the Russian artillery with the help of the special raiders. Russia has enormous losses in their artillery, and today General Commander Zaluzhny said that Ukraine has all the chances to break through the Russian defense very soon. Those are the JDAMs that the Ukrainian army uses to target the Russian positions, and here we can see the transition part, the adapter for the Soviet-made airplanes. Also, some of the modification was done in a cockpit to drop the bomb precisely. By the way, this is the Sukhoi 27 aircraft. In Tokmak, the Ukrainian army targeted the big Russian base. As you can see, absolutely big kaboom out there, so probably there was the Russian ammunition warehouse, but it was reported as the Russian command center. Alright, let's go back to Prigozhin's airplane. There is the new version from the Russian Federation. They say that the explosive device could have been brought to the board of the airplane and was planted inside the main landing gear bay. I agree that the landing gear is close to the wing and the airplane lost the one in the skies. However, we also saw the traces of shrapnel on the aircraft skin and other parts of the construction. We cannot exclude the variant with the device on board as well. However, I'm almost sure that it was the Russian air defense. People heard the explosives, 2 of them, and then airplane was falling. Also, there was the trace in the sky. Some of the resources related to Wagner confirm that information as well. About the bodies, they say to be identified. This guy, Dmitro Utkin, who is the Wagner himself, the creator of this organization, was identified by tattoos. We have this report from the Russian media, but Russian media hesitated to say what kind of the tattoos were used to identify this anti-Nazi soldier? I think that it is actually the first time that Putin performed the denazification he promised. Alright, is it going to be the civil war in Russia after Prigozhin's death? I'm not quite sure, because Wagner soldiers are mercenaries and they may act independently, but what they care about the most are money. So Putin has two options: to lock them in a prison or just to pay, and that's it. After analyzing the topic, I might say that they will not go to Moscow. Well, I would be very surprised if there will be one more march of something. However, let's say this situation with Prigozhin creates one more crack in the Russian society, in the Russian politician life, and in the Russian elite. Maybe Putin thinks that he showed that he's the boss now in Russia, but definitely he created more division. And the next potential Prigozhin will understand that it's better to finish the task in Moscow, to go there and take the power. We have the information from Reuters. They say that United States believes that it was the missile strike to shut down Prigozhin's airplane. Likely again. Honestly, I give 99% for this scenario. The Russian Legion and the Russian volunteers who fight for Ukraine ask Wagner soldiers to join them in fight for liberation of Russia. Well, I think it really depends on their salary. President Zelensky said that Ukraine has nothing to do with that aviation accident. He also added that probably everyone understands who is responsible for that. Alright, and now I'll tell my own conclusion about the case, what it means for Ukraine, what it means for Russia, and we're gonna leave this topic a little aside. Well, the first conclusion, that with the current Russian regime, it's better not to negotiate about anything. You see, this guy was Putin's mate, but it didn't help, he is kaput. If we speak about Ukraine, President Zelensky shouldn't negotiate with Putin or trust his guarantees on any kind of the issue. Second, Russia is the barbarian dictatorship state that is completely out of the control. The Russian management doesn't think ahead and about any kind of the circumstances. They act emotionally. And here we have the outcome number 3. Putin lost his mind. He is resistant to forgiveness, and what he may do is just cut the heads. Again, no negotiations with that attitude. Outcome number 4, Russian elite created this bubble, the pink bubble actually, for Putin and for themselves, where they're the mighty Russia power. If they see the problem, they're not willing to solve it, they just ignore it, and if everyone points that we are in trouble, we have no supplies for our army, our tanks are very old, Ukrainian army is coming, we need to do something, so for those people it's either jail or grave. With this attitude, Russia will never win. Or it is better to say lose for sure, because they're in lack of the competence. Everything, Russian elite, Putin, Russian military elite, all of them are dumps. About the Wagners in Belarus, their camp shrinks a little. It started to shrink actually at the beginning of this month. It means that the Wagner soldiers are leaving it and probably moving to Africa or Russia. Absolutely great news about F-16s. Norway joined the coalition that will give the airplanes to Ukraine. I heard some different information about the quantity of those airplanes in Norway Air Force. Some say around 84, some say around 61. Anyways, I think that at least half of those airplanes will be delivered to Ukraine, because Norway is replacing their fleet with F-35s, and they already have F-35s in their army. Plus, the United States of America joined the coalition for the training of the Ukrainian pilots. They will start to go to United States next month. As for the deep state military map update, let's go to this area in Robotyne. There is some change. It was yesterday and it is today. It's very hard for Ukrainian forces to propel forward because there are still lots of the Russian defense lines, but here, as you can see, we partially break through them. They're already in the gray area. So maybe there's going to be the advancement from Robotyne towards Novoprokopivka and from this area towards Verbove. But still, the main vector of the Ukrainian counteroffensive is now going towards Tokmak and after it to Melitopol. in the Bakhmut direction. Unfortunately, our army left this area near to Berhivka. So it was yesterday and it is today. There was the attempt from the Ukrainian side to take Berhivka under control, but still Russia has huge resistance. And as I say to you, the main vector for us is to attack on the south after all, because Bakhmut, well, what we have in Bakhmut, the other defense lines, the self-proclaimed republics that have the constant supplies from the Russian Federation. On the south, we have the opportunity to cut the Russian army in two and go to Crimea. Crimea is way more important than the liberation of the self-proclaimed republics. We need to cause the moral devastation for the Russian Federation after the Ukrainian army liberates this peninsula. It's way easier than those republics out there, and Russia was able to build huge defense lines for many years, so it's better to attack over here. Those lines are also huge, but they're fresh made, and Russia is kind of confused to use them still, and that is why Ukrainian army propels forward. My friends, don't forget to press the like to this video, and also don't forget to check my personal link for the ground news platform, the best available and affordable news service out there. It's my personal recommendation. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.